Junior, what about your thoughts on social media and mental health? I think social media, in a sense, it's a drug. It's a form of escapism, and it's a form of manipulation. So, social media, you can go and you can post whatever you want to post, portray yourself in any light that you want to be viewed as, and therefore manipulate the end consumer to believe whatever it is that you want them to believe about you. So, very dangerous in that regard, because obviously that means you're wearing a mask, that means you're being a fraud. And most of the people I know that have worn a mask or been a fraud end up hating themselves because they know they're not being genuine or authentic. The flip side of that is comparison, and obviously consistently scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, and comparing yourself to people who are good looking or more successful than you. That's only going to compound any underlying limiting beliefs that you have, whether that's not good enough, you're ugly, you're fat, etc., etc. But it really comes down to us as individuals and taking responsibility for the way that we live our life. So taking action, limiting the way you use social media, using it for positive purposes. So for me, I'm pretty bad on social media, but what I do is I spend most of my time on Open Up, working on Open Up, pushing a positive message and trying to engage people in that light. So social media can and definitely is a tool for good, but it can also be a self-destructive tool as well. Yes, Fanzi. It's such an easy way to escape, bro. And think about it in terms of Matt Bruce, one of the facilitators of breathwork at the FIFO Mental Health Summit with me. He suffered from PTSD. He was a guest on the podcast. He's a veteran who had to watch beheadings all day, pretty much, murder from the Taliban all day. And his body become accustomed to receiving that flood of hormones from watching those beheadings all day. And so he had PTSD, not because he was so messed up by what he saw, but because his body was craving that same release all the time. And so the way his body would get that would be reliving those moments in his sleep or when he closed his eyes, so that he could get that adrenaline rush, get that flood of dopamine, and his body would be back in that state. Exactly the same with social media, brother. If we feel, or porn, same sort of thing. If we feel like we're bored, or if we feel like we're not enough, or if we feel like we're in a good space and we want to bring ourselves back down to earth and confirm that we aren't enough, then it's just as easy to jump on social media, because your body's been rewired to crave that flood of dopamine, that flood of whatever hormone comes as a result of you jumping on Facebook, Instagram, seeing those notifications, seeing those comments, or seeing people who make you feel that way.